Tyler was still fumbling with the back door handle when Bernice bolted. The impatience had been building in her like a storm cloud, and the sight of his young, firm ass scurrying around the house was enough to send her into a tailspin. She didn't wait. She didn't give a damn about the denture cleaner. She needed a fix, and she needed it now. She stormed down the back steps, past the swinging sign that read "Employees Only," and into the alleyway that smelled of wet cardboard and despair. The moon hung over the dumpsters like a cold, dead eye. There he was, Old Man Twitch. He was a neighborhood fixture, a creature of the night who looked like he was made of leftovers. He was wearing a tuxedo jacket with a hole in the elbow and a stained vest, and his breath smelled of cabbage water and cheap bourbon. He was leaning against a brick wall, wiggling a toothless gums at Bernice. "Well, hello there, sweet thing," Twitch wheezed, his voice sounding like sandpaper on glass. "Looking for a little excitement?" Bernice didn't even slow down. She grabbed him by the collar of that stained vest and slammed him against the brick wall. The impact made a dull thud that echoed off the trash cans. "I'm looking for a fuck, you ugly sack of crap," she growled, her eyes burning with a hunger that frightened even her. "And I need it hard. I need it dirty. I need to feel like I'm being used up." Twitch grinned, revealing a mouthful of yellow, rotting teeth. "I got just the thing for you, honey. I got a stiff one that hasn't seen the light of day in a week." "Good," Bernice grunted, yanking his pants down. "Let's see if it still works." She dropped to her knees right there in the alley, ignoring the pile of soggy newspapers on the ground. She wrapped her mouth around him, taking him in all the way to the base. He tasted like pennies and sour milk. It was gross. It was perfect. "Oh, sweet Jesus," Twitch groaned, grabbing her by the hair and pulling her head back. "You got a mouth like a vacuum cleaner. Suck it, you old cow. Suck the dick of a loser." Bernice gagged, but she didn't stop. She slurped and gagged, her eyes watering. She loved it. She loved the smell, the taste, the way his rough hands scratched her scalp. It was raw. It was primal. It was everything Tyler wasn't. "Get up," Twitch ordered, shoving her away. He pushed her against the brick wall, his hands squeezing her hips hard enough to leave bruises. "I ain't done with you yet. I'm gonna split you open." He unbuckled his belt, and the sound of the rusty metal against the brick was like a gunshot. He didn't use any finesse. He didn't use any lube. He just rammed himself into her hard and fast. Thwack, thwack, thwack. The sound of flesh hitting flesh echoed off the alley walls. Twitch was a sloppy fuck. He grunted and groaned like a pig in a trough, his body shaking with every thrust. He was sweating all over her, his cold, clammy skin against her hot, flushed skin. "You're tight, you old bitch," he screamed, his voice cracking. "You're tighter than my daughter's snatch. Fuck me like you hate me." Bernice screamed back, her nails digging into his shoulders. She dug her heels into his back, trying to pull him deeper inside her. She was coming, and it was violent. Her body convulsed, her hips bucking against him, her mouth hanging open in a silent scream. "Take it," she yelled, her voice rising to a shriek. "Take the old woman, take the cougar, take the whore." Twitch roared and grabbed her by the throat. He choked her, his hands squeezing tight around her windpipe, cutting off her air. She gasped and clawed at his arm, her eyes bulging. He fucked her harder, faster, with a ferocity that was terrifying. Come for me, he howled. Come for the trash man. Come for the king of the gutter. She came hard. She squirted all over his crotch, a hot, wet mess that mixed with his sweat and the dirty alley floor. Oh, goddamn, Twitch groaned, and he pulled out, jerking himself off with a rough grip. I'm gonna paint this wall. He grabbed her head and shoved it toward his dick. Drink it, you old slut, drink the gravy. She opened her mouth and caught the spray of his seed, hot and salty, splattering against her tongue and dripping down her chin. Fuck, Twitch panted, pulling up his pants. Best piece of ass I've had since 1969. Bernice slumped against the wall, her dress hiked up around her waist, her legs trembling. She looked at the mess she'd made, a puddle of fluids, and spit on the dirty pavement. She wiped her mouth with the back of her hand, a satisfied smirk spreading across her face. Clean up your mess, Twitchy, she said, her voice raspy and weak. And tell the cook in the kitchen to save me a slice of pie. I'm starving. She pulled her dress down, smoothed out her hair, and walked back toward the house, her hips swaying with a newfound confidence. She was dripping wet, covered in grime, and smelling like a cocktail of cheap perfume and alleyway sex. But she didn't care. She was the queen of the alley, and she was ready for Tyler.